रटता जादू धूल गुबार में जंतर मंतर बाहर से भोला गहरा अंदर धूल गुबार में जंतर मंतर बाहर से भोला गहरा अंदर इंडिया सर ये चीज धुरंधर इंडिया सर ये चीज धुरंधर जेब कलिंदर दिल है समंदर.
Welcome to Vega on Air. Tell me a bit about your childhood, influences that shaped you and which took you closer to your calling.
I had a musical family. My father sang, my mother sang. My uncle was a very, very big composer, Mohanu Preti. He gave me that hunger of exploring folk music of various areas, which I did. So there was nothing like a regimented classical singing that I learnt around that time. Although I did learn from a very famous teacher, Ishtiyaq Hussain Khan Sahab from Rampur Sahaswan Karana. But as far as professional singing is concerned, yes, I used to do some bit of jingles or whatever. I mean, I've done some work with Shubha Mudgal also. But I never joined a band. I never went solo. That came much, much later in my life. All these influences in my life, whether it was my mother, whether it was my father, my uncle, all that shaped into what I am today. Singing has always been there, music has always been there. In fact, I was a director editor. And editing becomes easier when you have a sense of rhythm, when you have a sense of music. So that kind of helped my filmmaking as well. So music has always been an inherent part of my life.
From a time when you were actually sort of running away from your musical heritage to when you are a part of a big cult band, where did the dots connect?
I don't know where the dots and how the dots connect, because there is some kind of a destiny that takes you on a roller coaster ride. It's exactly how it happened. I was doing this documentation work on the Kumauni Ramlila. I was recording these compositions. It's an operatic tradition, and I was the main singer there in a studio which was co-owned by Sushmit Sen, who was the founder member of Indian Ocean Band. He had heard my voice there, and unfortunately when Oshim had a stroke and he was hospitalized, that's when he called me. He says, kind of jam with the band and see if we gel together. And I started singing with them in the practice session, and they were quite taken aback because I'd come really prepared. So it's been a long journey. I'm more than 700 plus shows old. Traveled the world with the band and sang in some of the most fabulous venues that you can think of.
What's the best adulation that you've ever received from a fan?
I would say the best thump or the kick that I've got on stage was when you have 5,000, 7,000, 10,000 people singing back at you. You know, it kind of gives you that big high that as a performer you need, that energy that you need.
Tell me some stories of biggest hits that you've done, how they came about.
The people who come to Indian Ocean want a different kind of music, the kind of music that Indian Ocean does, which is not the mainstream Bollywood music. So when Masan happened, I think it was a meeting of similar kind of minds because it was a great film. The making of the songs, as far as our band is concerned, somebody will come with a riff, will play it on the guitar or sing it out. The other person joins in, and then slowly and steadily that whole body comes through, the song composition comes through. So that's how every composition happens, and that's how Masan happened. In fact, there's a funny story with one of the songs. Amit was driving down to our practice pad, and he was held up at a red light for a very long time. And Man Kasturi happened.
So we'd very much want you to sing some of the songs which gets the maximum wows as far as the audience is concerned, and which is also your favorite.
My favorite as far as the Indian Ocean entire repertoire is concerned is a song which comes towards the end in Masan, which is Bhor.
भोर 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 भई उड़ता पंछी भोर 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 भई उड़ता पंछी जा बैठा एक डाल जा बैठा एक डाल जा बैठा एक डाल जा बैठा एक डाल भोर 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 भई उड़ता पंछी भोर 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 भई उड़ता पंछी.
Anything from Pipli life?
देश मेरा अंग्रेज बाबू, घाट घाट या घटता जादू. धूल गुबार में जंतर मंतर, बाहर से भोला गहरा अंदर. इंडिया सर ये चीज दुरंदर, अरे इंडिया सर ये चीज दुरंदर. जेब दलितर दिल है समंदर, देश मेरा अंग्रेज बाबू.
Tell me one memory which remains in your mind, sort of gives the engine to your career.
I was fortunate that my mother got to see me perform as part of Indian Ocean, and that I always remember her whenever I'm on stage. So, that's a very important factor for me.
Himanshu, what would you say to all the children who have a budding artist in them?
There are certain qualities that a good artist must have. One is diligence. Second is humility. Third is never forget where you came from. Four is that you keep your ego in check at all times, because that is when I've seen bands disintegrating or these artists not being able to hold on to the reins as they should, And I've seen the great ones who are still going strong today. They're so humble. They're so nice. And I think that is the biggest quality one any artist should have.
Himanshu, in this sea of education where rote memories become so important, how and what would be your advice to educational institutions to hone and to nurture artists?
I think it's very important for any educational institution to understand that fine arts are very much part of an overall development of a child. Music, since you hear it all the time, it's part of you, it's part of your environment, it's part of the world environment that you're staying in now. It's important that stress should be there to gently ease the child into it. First of all, music cannot be forced. Don't force music upon children. Ease them into it. And you'll see the results coming in. Let them experiment with music. I think that is another thing that is not there. Let these kids experiment with notes. Teach them the rudimentary part and then let them flower. And when that happens, you'll see magic happening.
Thank you very much. Thank you for sharing your time with us, and thank you for the beautiful lyrics and the beautiful music you're giving to the world.
Pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.